Sounds good. All right.
Welcome. I'm excited to share stories of bravery and brave moves that leaders, CEOs, and business owners are making right now. One leader, 1 minute stories. And with me, I have Tasha Wahl. She's the founder of the Butterfly Effect and also the executive producer for Erik Wahl and his keynote speaking. And so, Tasha, I am so excited to have you here with us today.
Thanks, Nicole. Thank you for having me. I'm honored that you would think of me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate for those of you that know, Tasha and I met, about 6 years ago in kind of a chance meeting as she was doing a butterfly drop actually in the Omaha area at the conclusion of Erik's keynote at the ICANN Women's Leadership Conference. And so it's just such an incredible story. You'll have to read about it at some point in time, but I appreciate the opportunity to just to partner with you over the last years. And as I was thinking about people that are making bold moves and that are really demonstrating bravery during these times, you of course came to mind. And so talk to us about what's helping you be braver right now.
Yeah. I think the thing that's helping me be braver right now is having perspective. So I think I have a grandma that turned 99 years old in January, and I look at her life and how she's lived it and the things that she's been through. And I think to myself, okay, when I'm 99, how will I look back and see the coronavirus? What is it that I'm going to look at about this time, and how will I have wanted myself to respond? And so in that place, I'm trying to act with bravery in it. So kind of getting like 10,000 feet up above and having a little bit of perspective on what this actually is. I think it'll be a time in our lives that we will all remember. It's pivotal. Nobody will forget this year. But it's also a time that I feel like we can make some really major changes. I've heard people calling it a pause. And we were talking the other day as a family about it's an opportunity for a reset, not just a pause. But there are things that we're learning right now about ourselves, about each other, about our businesses, about relationships. And we're recognizing that this is an opportunity for a redo. Like when you're playing wall ball and someone's like, redo, redo. I'm like, oh, we can redo. And that feels really edifying and brave to be able to say, you know what, maybe what we did before isn't going to work in this new world. And so we have a chance to explore like a redo, a reset of how we want to go forward into the future. And I want to look back and ask myself when I'm 99, how did I live? Or I want to be able to say to myself, I lived in a way that I felt was brave, in a way that I felt was authentic, in a way that I felt was present. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot to be sad and grieve over. And I want to have the range of emotion. I'm not trying to be a Pollyanna and just make sure everything is, oh, it's so positive, it's great. No, I want to look at the things that need to change and then be brave enough to step forward and make those changes. So one of the things I've been doing, I set aside, I love to write, but I've never really blogged publicly. And I set myself a goal that I was going to write every single day during shelter in. And so I did it. I did it for almost 45 days. And then, it let up. And now I'm kind of realizing I love it. I love doing a little daily blog Monday through Friday and kind of sharing out. It allows me to take some of the experiences that we've had and share it out with my community. And then also just give me practice and the process of writing and putting out. I think everyone's looking for content right now. So putting out some content, but I cannot tell you how nervous and worried I was in the beginning. I thought, what if I don't have anything to say? What if people don't like it? What if they have an opinion? And I just realized that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to be brave. And so that's one very specific thing that I did that I am so grateful that I did.
Oh, I love it. And when I think about the butterfly effect and the work that you're doing, the important work around being the change that you want to see in the world, what's one piece of advice you would give to people around being the change or being braver?
Yeah, I think you have to figure out the two questions that I always ask when I go and speak about butterfly effect. What lights you up and what breaks your heart. So if you don't know what it is that you're supposed to do, if you can figure out those two things, so what lights you up, essentially what makes you so happy that you have to do it. You know when you're doing it because your body tells you, your mind tells you, you're full of joy. This is like your purpose. It's what you should be doing. And then what breaks your heart? So essentially what is so messed up in the world that you can't watch it anymore. You need to step in and help. When you know those two things, and then sort of the third thing would be what are you good at? So if you can figure out those three things, and somewhere in the middle, if you have three circles, somewhere in the middle of those three circles is what it is that you're supposed to be doing to be the change that you want to see in the world. It's going to be something that you love. It's going to be something that you know needs to change, and it's going to be something that you were made to do. So I think that that's like one of my favorite dinner time conversations. If you've never done it with your family, sit around the table and ask, what lights you up? What breaks your heart? What are you good at? And then the next question for me is, if I gave you $100 and I said you had to give it away, where would you give it and why? That'll take, either you could do that for 2 nights or 4 nights, one question a night. But our family, when we do that and we go around the table, and it sometimes changes, we get to know each other better. And then you find out what is it that this person wants to do, and you're sort of putting it out there in the universe, and you just want to help them. It's human nature to want to help people follow their purpose. And so to me, being the change that you want to see in the world is knowing yourself well enough to know what it is that you want to do, but also knowing what the closest people around you, what their purpose is, and then helping them to live into that purpose.
Yeah. And I even think when I think back, when I think about the what scares you the most and helping them live into their purpose, for us to take on kind of that coaching mode, to be able to say, gosh, okay, so now that you know that, what's a small brave move you can make, right? What's your next move that you could make that might be uncomfortable, but what could that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we're speaking with our clients, with our families, with our friends, ultimately this time is about humanizing the world. We spend all this time on Zoom calls. We're in front of our screens constantly. We're not allowed to see each other. And honestly, like with the future of AI and everything that it's becoming, it's coming. It's not good or bad. It's coming. Just like the internet isn't good or bad, TV isn't good or bad, shopping isn't good or bad. It is. It's happening. So how do we come in and humanize it to make it something that's a tool that we're able to use? So getting to know people, asking those questions, and then encouraging each other to be more humanly who we are is the best way to move forward in this changing world.
Great examples of what being brave looks like, especially right now. Bravery plus leadership creates a competitive advantage for us as leaders and as humans. And I think, we can say we want to lead and we want to do these things, but if we're missing the bravery aspect, it's just not enough. And so I appreciate you sharing. And for those that are listening, Tasha and the Butterfly Effect are actually instrumental to the Papillion 150th anniversary. And we've installed 2 butterflies around being the change that you want to see in the world, which is a social butterfly mural. And we have 11 more to go. But I just appreciate, I know it's been so exciting bringing this to life. And there was a little slowdown with the pause with COVID, but we're back up and running and excited to continue to infuse change into our community. So Tasha, thank you for your message. Thank you for being a part of our community here locally and for all the good work that you're doing.
You're welcome. It's an honor to walk alongside you in this. Thank you so much for having me.